The League of Villains is basically a group of bad guys who want to bring down hero society. They're led by Tomura Shigaraki, who was trained by All for One, the ultimate villain. They started off small, but quickly grew stronger, like leveling up in a game. What began as a handful of outcasts with a grudge turned into a team of people with powers that all say, "Don't mess with us." Tomura is their leader, and his quirk, Decay, can turn anything he touches into dust. His anger toward heroes comes from a really rough childhood where everything he cared about was destroyed. Instead of getting help, he chose to become a villain. Dabi is another member who is literally on fire with blue flames that he controls. He has a big grudge against heroes, especially one named Endeavor. Let's just say they have some serious family problems. Himiko Toga is like that one student who's a bit too obsessed with their crush. But instead of just writing love letters, she drinks people's blood so she can look like them. Then there's Twice, who is always confused because he can make copies of anything, including himself. He's a nice guy deep down, but he sometimes can't tell if he's the real him or just a copy. Mr. Compress is like a magician, but instead of pulling rabbits out of hats, he can shrink people and objects into marbles. If there was an evil talent show, he'd definitely win. Spinner is another member who looks up to Stain, a villain who hates fake heroes. Spinner joined the League to help Tomura create a world without heroes who just pretend to be good. And finally, there's Kurojiri. He's like the team's driver, but instead of a car, he uses his quirk to create portals for quick escapes. Imagine needing to leave a place fast and boom, he makes a portal for you. Honestly, if I ever met someone like Tomura in real life, I just hope he's not having a bad day. The Akatsuki started out with a noble goal to bring peace to the world. Sounds like a bunch of idealistic ninjas, right? Well, things took a sharp turn when Nagato, also known as Pain, took over. Under his leadership, the group transformed into a criminal organization with a much darker mission, capturing all the tailed beasts to use their immense power to control the world. Each member of the Akatsuki is an S-rank criminal, which is basically the ninja world's version of a top-tier boss fight. And trust me, they're not the kind of folks you want to mess with. Itachi Uchiha is one of the most iconic members. This guy is a master of the Sharingan, capable of trapping you in mind-bending illusions or roasting you with his fire techniques. But don't let his calm demeanor fool you. Next up, we've got Kissing Hashigaki, also known as the Monster of a Hidden Mist. With his shark-like appearance and his living sword, Singhada, he's like a walking Jaws sequel nobody asked for. Then there's Daidara, the group's resident art enthusiast. But instead of painting landscapes or sculpting statues, he's all about explosive clay. He's the type to turn a fight into an explosive fireworks show. And trust me, you do not want to be in the front row. Sasori, on the other hand, took Puppet Master way too seriously and turned his entire body into a puppet. He's got 100 more puppets up his sleeve, well technically in his back, and each one is as deadly as the last. Kumanan, the only female member of the group, is just as powerful as the rest. She uses paper as her weapon, folding it into everything from paper bombs to wings for flying. It's like origami, but deadly. Zetsu, meanwhile, is the group's spy and information broker. With his split personality and plant-like body, he's like that creepy neighbor who knows way too much about everyone on the block. And we can't forget Idan and Kakuzu, the Akatsuki's odd couple. Idan is immortal, which is both a blessing and a curse, especially when his rituals get him into trouble. Kakuzu, on the other hand, is all about business. He's got multiple hearts and can use different elemental attacks, which is great for a ninja, but probably a nightmare for his health insurance provider. Together, they're not just a group of rogue ninjas, they're a force of nature. The Espada are the top 10 Arankars in Bleach. They're ranked from 0 to 9, with each number representing just how much trouble they can cause. And trust me, they're all walking natural disasters in their own way. First up is Stark, the Espada ranked number 1. He's incredibly powerful, but he's also known for his loneliness, which is kind of ironic for the strongest guy in the group. In battle, he flaunts 2 guns, and can take down enemies with the same casual boredom you'd expect from someone who's seen it all and couldn't care less anymore. Then we have Baragon, ranked number 2, and this guy's about as terrifying as they come. He can make things age and decay with just a touch, turning everything he dislikes into dust. He's the symbol of "I'm too old for this," but with a lot more deadly consequences. Let's just say he's the last person you want to get into a staring contest with, unless you're cool with turning into a pile of bones. Halibal is ranked 3, and she's all about water and sacrifice. She controls water with the grace of a tidal wave and is as calm as the ocean before a storm. She believes in sacrificing for the greater good, which is noble, except when it involves drowning her enemies. She's proof that you can be both strong and have a moral compass. Next, we got Ulquiorette, number 4. He's fast, strong, and always looks deeply worried. This guy is the poster child for emo vibes that matches the emptiness of space. But don't let his brooding looks fool you. When he gets serious, it's like watching a force of nature that's out to prove that cold and calculating can be downright terrifying. And then there's Grimmjow, ranked number 6, because why not skip 5 and get straight to the chaos? He's a wild card who loves nothing more than a good fight and breaking things, preferably his enemies. Each Espada has their own flair for destruction, but together they're Aizen's ultimate power squad. The Homunculi are a group of powerful artificial guys and Fullmetal Alchemist, created by Father, their leader, using pieces of his own essence. Each homunculus is named after one of the 7 deadly sins, and they show off those traits in the most dangerous ways possible. First up is Lust. She's as deadly as she is attractive, with the ability to extend her fingers into sharp, spear-like claws that can pierce through pretty much anything. She's like a deadly beauty with a literal killer manicure. If you think you're safe just because she's smiling, think again. Those males can reach you faster than you can say, bad idea. Then there's Gluttony, and his name says it all. He's got a never-ending hunger, and we're not just talking about raiding the fridge at midnight. This guy has a fake gate of truth in his stomach, which means if he swallows you, you're not just gone. You're erased from existence. Think of him as the black hole of the homunculi. Envy is the shapeshifter of the group, and he's as sneaky as they come. He can transform into any person, causing chaos and problems wherever he goes. He's basically the ultimate troublemaker, the one who starts fights and then disappears without a trace. If you got trust issues, this guy's the reason why. They should have called him Drama Starter instead. Next, we have Greed, who's exactly what his name suggests. He wants everything. He's got an ultimate shield that makes his body nearly indestructible, which is super handy when you're as hungry for success as he is. Greed's not really into following orders. He's more about living life his way and collecting as many shiny things as possible. Sloth, on the other hand, would rather be sleeping than causing trouble. He's got huge strength and speed, but he's so lazy that even getting out of bed is a struggle. When he does decide to get moving, he's like a runaway train, unstoppable and destructive. If you think he's slow, just wait until he decides you're worth the effort. Wrath, also known as King Bradley, is probably the scariest of them all. He's a skilled swordsman with the ultimate eye, which lets him see and counter any attack. He's not just fast and powerful, he's super precise. It's like playing chess against someone who's read your mind and knows your next move before you can make it. Finally, there's Pride, the oldest and most terrifying of the homunculi. He uses shadows to attack and spy, lurking in the darkness like a creepy shadow monster. Pride's got a huge superiority complex, and he sees humans as little more than ants under his boot. If you ever feel a chill in a dark room, he's just waiting to attack. Together, the homunculi are more than just Father's messed up family. They represent the worst traits of humanity turned into weapons. The Phantom Troop, also known as the Spider, is a well-known thieves gang in Hunter x Hunter. They're famous for their brutal heists, leaving trouble and destruction wherever they go. Despite their poor reputation, they've got a strong bond with each other. Each member has their own number and a spider tattoo, kind of like a twisted family with matching ink. At the heart of this wild group is Crawlo Lucifer, their leader. He has a calm and cool vibe that feels a bit creepy, especially since his quirk lets him steal others' abilities and use them. It's like he's collecting powers and isn't afraid to use them. With him in charge of the spider, you can bet things will get messy in a very planned way. Then there's Phaeton, the group's resident sadist. He's known for his incredible speed and his ability to shrug off pain like it's nothing. If pain tolerance were an Olympic sport, this guy would take home the gold. He's got a small frame, but don't let that fool you. He's like a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, and you definitely don't want to be in the blast zone. Hisoka is a wild card who sometimes hangs out with the troop. He's a skilled magician who's just as unpredictable as he is powerful. He's got this weird obsession with finding strong opponents, and treats fights like they're the best kind of game. You never really know what side he's on because for him, he cares more about a good challenge than being loyal. And then we have Nobunaga, the troop's master swordsman. He's all about close-range combat, wielding his katana with the kind of precision that makes you think he could slice a fly in half midair. He's loyal to the troop to a fault and would go to any lengths to protect his family. The Blackbeard Pirates, led by Marshall D. Teach, better known as Blackbeard, are a gang you do not want to run into on the high seas in one piece. Their whole goal? To become the most powerful pirate gang ever, and they've got a pretty dangerous strategy for getting there, collecting devil fruits which give them incredible powers. With Blackbeard in charge, this gang is set on taking over the seas and destroying anyone who gets in their way. Starting with the big guy himself, Marshall D. Teach Eka. Blackbeard. This dude isn't your average pirate captain. He's the only person in One Piece who possesses not one but 2 devil fruits, an ability that should be impossible. This gives him some seriously terrifying powers, like controlling darkness and sucking entire cities into black holes. If that wasn't enough, he also gained the power of the Tremor Tremor fruit, meaning he can cause massive earthquakes. He's basically got the powers of 2 final bosses, and he's just getting started. Then there's Shiryu of the Rain, a former jailer turned pirate who's basically the team's swordsman. And not just any swordsman. This guy carries a powerful blade and has no problem slicing through his enemies with deadly skill. He's as cold as they come, with no sense of kindness, which made him a perfect fit for Blackbeard's gang. Imagine someone with the skills of Zoro but none of the honor, and you got Shiryu. His calm yet harsh nature makes him one of the most feared members of the Blackbeard pirates. Finally, there's Katarina Devon, one of the most well-known female pirates for bad things in the world. She's got a devil fruit ability that allows her to change into anyone she wants, making her a master of tricking. She's like that villain in every spy movie who can become anyone anytime, except she's way more brutal. If you see someone you know, you better double check it's actually them because Devon could be hiding behind that face ready to attack. Together, the Blackbeard Pirates are the definition of dangerous. The Black Organization is one of the most hidden and dangerous criminal groups in Detective Conan. These guys operate entirely from the shadows and their true goals are as mysterious as the people who work for them. All we know is that they're deeply involved in all kinds of illegal activities. They don't play around and their members are so committed that even their code names are based on alcoholic drinks, because why not? First up, we've got Jin. He's as cold-blooded as they come, and his reputation as an assassin is nothing short of like a Giga Chad. Imagine a hitman who's always 2 steps ahead and doesn't flinch, even in the worst situations. That's Jin. He's one of the top figures in the Black Organization, and when he shows up, you know someone's about to meet a very deadly end. Next, we've got Vodka, who rolls with Jin as his right-hand man. He's not as sharp or clever as Jin, but he makes up for in tough strength and loyalty. He's basically the mastermind of the operations, handling the dirty work with no hesitation. Then there's Vermouth, who adds a lot of mystery to the group. She's really good at pretending and can take on any role without anyone noticing it's her. But don't be fooled by her nice looks. She's just as dangerous as the others, and she has her own secret plans. Vermouth is like a skilled chess player, always making it hard for others to know her true intentions. She charms those around her, leaving them unsure if they can trust her. And finally, there's Rum, the mysterious second in charge. His true self is one of the biggest secrets in the Black Organization, and almost nobody knows who he really is. What we do know is that he's powerful and respected, even among his own teammates. The thought that he might be more of a story than a real person makes him even scarier. Because how do you deal with someone you're not even sure is real? The Beast Pirates are one of the most dangerous pirate crews in One Piece, led by the scary Kaido, one of the 4 emperors. This isn't just any pirate crew. They're on a mission to become the strongest by creating an army of fakes. Zone-type devil fruit users are called Smile users. These guys don't just fight like animals, they're animals thanks to the powers of Smile fruits that give them wild abilities and traits. If you're not Beast, you don't belong in Kaido's world. At the top of this savage group is Kaido, the strongest creature alive. He's practically cannot be destroyed, and yeah, he can also change into a massive dragon. When Kaido changes, it's game over. He wipes out ships, villages, and anyone unlucky enough to cross his path with a single blast of fire or a swipe of his claws. Backing up Kaido is King, his loyal right-hand man and one of the scariest swordsmen around. King has the ability to change into a giant pteranodon. So not only is he deadly on the ground, but he's also a threat in the skies. He's got flames at his command and fights with the skill of a warrior who knows he's unstoppable. When King takes to the air, it's like a dark shadow falling over the battlefield, and if you're his target, there's no escape. Next in line is Queen, the Beast Pirate's resident gadget expert and a brutal fighter. He's a massive, cyborg-like pirate who can turn into a brachiosaurus, and as big and intimidating as he looks, he's also got a weird sense of humor. Queen loves playing with his enemies, using his tools and weapons to toy with them before dealing the final blow. When he's in his dinosaur form, it's like facing off against a war machine that also happens to have a personality, and you can bet he'll be laughing the whole time. And then there's Jack, the crew's heavy hitter. Jack can transform into a mammoth, and when he charges, nothing survives in his path. Known for his brutal fighting style and not giving a damn for anything other than destruction, Jack is the Beast Pirates' go-to guy for total mayhem. The 7 pirate leaders of the sea, or Shichibukai, were a legendary group of powerful pirates in One Piece who struck a deal with the world government. In exchange for forgiveness, they worked as supported by the government pirates, helping to keep other pirate threats in check. But let's be real, these guys were in it for themselves, using their status to pursue their own goals while pretending to keep the balance. At the top of the warlords list is Dracula Mihawk, the undisputed greatest swordsman in the world. If you thought Zoro was tough, this guy is on a whole other level. Mihawk holds a sword so powerful that it can slice through ships like they're made of paper. With a calm, almost bored manner, Mihawk doesn't chase battles, but when one comes to him, it's over before it begins. He's the kind of swordsman that doesn't need flashy moves. One slash, and it's game over. Then there's Crocodile, the former leader of Baroque Works, and a man who can literally control sand. His powers let him drain moisture, create massive sandstorms, and turn the battlefield into a desert. Crocodile's dreams were always bigger than just being a warlord. He had dreams of ruling kingdoms, and he wasn't afraid to play dirty to make that happen. With his sharp mind and even sharper hook, he's not just a pirate, he's a mastermind. Bo Hancock, the pirate empress, is as deadly if she is beautiful. She's got the power to turn people to stone with a single glance, making her both a powerful warrior and a force of nature. She's very strong-willed and doesn't exactly follow anyone's rules but her own, which makes her role as a warlord a little funny. Despite her beauty, she's not someone you want to mess with, cross her, and you might end up as a statue. And then there's Bartholomew Kuma, a massive cyborg with the ability to repel anything he touches. That includes pain, attacks, and even people. He can literally send his enemies flying across the world with a single touch. Kuma is a bit of a mystery, with a past that's tied up in government experiments and secrets. He's not just a tough guy, he's got the power and accuracy to make his every move count. While the 7 warlords were supposed to help maintain peace, their unreliable nature and immense power eventually became too much to handle. The world government finally decided they were more of a threat than an asset and broke up the group. But during their time, the warlords were a force to be reckoned with, each one a pirate legend in their own right, walking the thin line between order and chaos with their own goals always at the forefront.